got a chance to see the supernatural Western film Killing Faith with Guy Pearce. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zankum, an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to talk about this independent film by Shout Studios called Killing Faith. I keep wanting to say Killing Eve, but that's a TV show. We're killing Eve, we're killing Faith. What else can we kill? I don't know. So I love Westerns. I could not turn this one down, especially a supernatural Western, because as everybody knows, I did my own supernatural Western called Six Gun Savior with Eric Roberts and Marty Cove, which I'm going to try to get back here eventually because we got screwed financially majorly with that film. In fact, the head down with the hat looks very similar to the one that our distribution company came up with. But this is a very interesting film. So it's not predictable. I'll tell you that right off the bat. This is not a predictable film. I had no idea what was going to happen by the end. None. And I would have liked to have seen a little more than what it was. I wanted the end to have a little bit more weight to it than it did. But I'm not going to do any spoilers here. But it was written and directed by Ned Crowley, he's got like 4 films under him. Nothing of major, there's no A-listers or anything like that in there. There's no big films that you would recognize. So I have no idea. I have no idea how this thing got made, because I want to attest, as though I love Westerns, they do not do well in the theater at all. Nobody goes to see them. So I don't understand why someone would give him money. I mean, I don't even know that Netflix is even taking Westerns. Like, Six Gun Savior is everywhere except Netflix. Netflix just does not take Westerns. I don't think that their CEO likes Westerns, so therefore he doesn't put them up on the site. Like mine is on Prime, it's on Tubi, it's literally everywhere. It's like on 22 different streaming channels, and mine was only a teeny tiny budget. This Guy Pearce alone gives this credence. So I mean, Guy Pearce, I mean, the amount of filmography this guy has is crazy. I mean, this guy's had such a illustrious career, and nobody really goes out and sees a Guy Pearce movie, but yet he's been everywhere. Like, he was just in The Brutalist. That one was up for awards. The Shrouds. That's just recent, but of course he's best known for Iron Man 3, where he played the villain in Iron Man 3. He's anybody that is a fan of the Batman series. He did Memento, because Memento was the film that Christopher Nolan ended up using to make Batman. Right? That was the one that kind of put him into the stratosphere, and he was the lead in Memento. I mean, he's done he was played Ebenezer Scrooge in Christmas Carol. One of the movies I really liked that was, Leave Your Brain at the Door, but I liked his performance. He played with Maggie Grace. It was called Lockout. It was a sci-fi. Mary Queen of Scots, that he played with Margot Robbie. Alien Covenant, and the other one as well, Prometheus. He played like Wayland Yutani or whatever else. He played like the corporate guy in both of those. So the guy has just had an amazing, amazing career. So he's always good. Always good. So if you want to look at his filmography, it's got like 100 different movies in it. And rightfully so. He's very engaging. So here he's the lead. You know, he's not a supporting cast in this one. But he is, you know, kind of shares the screen for most of the film with DeWanda Wise. And DeWanda Wise is best known for her role in Jurassic Park Dominion, where she played the helicopter pilot or whatever else, the plane pilot where they crash. She was excellent in that, I thought. She was a really good addition to that crew, to that cast. And she was also in Imaginary, which I have not seen. But she's really, really good. She's definitely a breakout star as far as I'm concerned. Bill Pullman has a very small part at the end here. Again, he's always good. He's obviously best known for Independence Day and his speech thereof. It was great to see Joanna Cassidy. I have met her several times, but this is the first time I've seen her. Of course, she's from Blade Runner back in the day, but she was really good in this, I thought. And then we have the two little girls in here. Both of them were good. Emily Catherine Ford, she really doesn't have any lines here at all, but the expressions on her face had to tell her story. She has a few lines at the end, but that's it. But she's only like 6 or 7 years old, and she's been in Outer Range, and she was also with Sarah Paulson in Hold Your Breath, which I have not seen, but I might look that one up now and see if I can't see it. The other little girl is Guy Pearce's daughter. Before the film begins, there's a bunch of different things that happen to both Guy Pearce and Sarah, which is DeWanda Wise's character, that basically sets everything in motion to where we basically start the film. And my big thing with AMC this week, there was about 10 of us in the theater on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock. So that tells you something. I hope this movie makes a little bit of money, although I don't think it will. But when the film started, there was no sound at all. And they knew there was a problem from, we went through all the stuff leading up to the film, including like Nicole Kidman and things like that, and there was no sound. And they didn't repair it until like 10 minutes into the film. I'm like, you guys going to restart it or what? And they're like, no, we're not going to restart it. So I missed anything that happened in the first 10 minutes sound-wise. I have no idea what happened in the beginning. So, of course I was able to see it, but I wasn't able to hear it. Well, there was a bunch of questioning going on, stuff like that. There was a guy in a cage, and we got to introduce one of the villains, and I didn't hear a damn thing. Anyway, before we keep going, remember, too, to give me a like and give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Also, if you'd like to check out anything that I've written, you can check out my stuff on Amazon by just typing my name in, or there's a link in the description below. And you'll see my 4-novel quadrilogy. It's an epic sci-fi adventure in the vein of Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Wars, Star Trek. It's got all those little elements in it. It was made into a board game, an RPG, graphic novel, and it's on Audible. The first book is on Audible. If you'd like to check that out, I think you'll like it. It's definitely a fun, epic adventure. Then we have my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch, which is, if you like fantasy, if you like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, you're going to like that. We got magic, we got dragons, we got griffins, we got all a bunch of stuff. We got hordes of armies. It's going to be awesome. So it is awesome, because I've already written that one. And then we have my comic, Fairy Tales of Terror, that did extremely well on Kickstarter, and we did like $11,000. So that's going to be coming out here shortly. I am pushing my artist to get done so I can work on issue 2. And it has a Psycho Cinderella, and we have Killer Captain Hook. They're being tracked by Tiger Lily from Neverland. It's lots of fun. If you like we're not taking pledges right now because it's over. Link in the description below if you just want to check it out. I will be opening late pledge, so I'll let you guys know when we're going to be taking stuff again. All right, so let's jump back into the film. Before the film starts, to set everything up, is that Dr. Bender, which is he's always on a bender, I guess. He doesn't drink. He takes like almost like I forgot what it was called, what the drug was called, but he puts it on a piece of cloth and puts it over his mouth, and basically gets himself high. And when he sees himself during his moments of him being high, he sees his daughter, who I guess died from some kind of an illness that he was unable to save her. And that is like haunting him. But every time he gets himself high, he sees a glimpse of her. And that really kind of pushes things along and motivates him to save the other little girl, which we don't even really know her name. It's just the girl. And what also connects him to DeWanda is that DeWanda was a slave for this property owner, and he set her free, and then she worked for him as well, so basically as a free woman where she was getting paid, etc. And then when he died, he left his whole fortune to her. So she owned everything by that point. And we don't find out where the girl came from. She keeps calling it her daughter, but she is like white and DeWanda is not. But when we find out that it is actually her daughter, okay, so we actually find out that it's, she gave birth to this kid. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. But her employer had an affair with Guy Pearce's wife, and then her guilt she ended up shooting herself. So this guy lost his wife and his daughter before the film even starts. All right, so that's the basic backstory of both characters, except now DeWanda's, I'm just going to call her Sarah, Sarah's daughter has this ability to kill things with a touch of her hand, right? So it's almost like Rogue from the X-Men. Instead of taking powers, she literally kills things, but it's only her hands, right? If you touch her skin or whatever else, you're fine. It's just her hands. So she has these mittens on throughout the entire movie, and when the mittens are removed, shit's going to go down. Shit is going down. So she thinks that she's possessed or she's evil or whatever, and there are people after her because it's already gone around that she's a weapon, right? So there are people that want her and there are people that want her dead. So that's the basic plot, is that Guy Pearce is now hired by DeWanda to help take her and the daughter to another town where a preacher can exorcise her for the most part. They call it cure, but that's what it is. They're trying to do an exorcism. So that's the basic storyline, and I kind of wish it went more into the exorcism portion of things. But anyway, if you see it, the end, it has a whole bunch of twists and stuff like that. Like I said, it was totally unpredictable. I couldn't tell you from the beginning what was going to happen at the end. People are all acting weird, and then we get, people from the outside coming in to, take the kid or, to do bad things like bandits and stuff like that. So we constantly have characters coming in and out. And I thought for a Western, it was shot pretty well, and it was shot in New Mexico. Holy cow! Film that's actually shot here in the States. Amazing. I have a bunch of friends that have access to stuff in Arizona for Westerns and New Mexico and stuff like that. So I hear that New Mexico is a good place to shoot Westerns. But again, Westerns do not do well in the theater. Nobody goes to see them. It's not like it. Like back in the day, Westerns were like superhero films, like Marvel back, 10 years ago or 6, 7 years ago, where that was like the big thing. Everybody did Westerns. Westerns popped up. You had John Wayne, you had Clint Eastwood, you had all these huge names that came out of westerns because westerns were a big thing back in the day. And then, when the 60s hit, I guess it kind of dropped off because they were just huge in the 50s for the most part. And then, I guess, Clint Eastwood was doing his in the 70s. He was doing spaghetti westerns in the 70s. It was early 70s, I believe. But anyway, so I don't know. I would love for westerns to make a comeback, but they just don't. They just have not. Magnificent Seven didn't even do well. Look at the cast that was in that. Crazy. But anyway, so I enjoyed the film. I recommend the film. I think the creation of the characters and everybody, then the motivations of what's going on. I think the settings were really good. Poor guy Pearce, man, he goes through. He should have stayed home. He should have stayed home. But I thought they did a really good job with the look and feel. And for a director that really hasn't done much, he got some really good performances. And there was a lot of good night stuff with the campfires, all that stuff, all good stuff. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up for the most part. I'm going to give it probably a 7 to a 7.5. It's not an 8. It's not great. Like 8 for me is, movie I'm going to go see over and over again. But this is not. If it's on, I will watch it, but I'm not going to go out and buy the film or anything like that. There's not enough action in it for that. It's more of a thriller than it is. It's got almost like elements of like Walking Dead, where they constantly are meeting up with people that are bound to be doing bad things and that kind of thing. Where you have that inkling where you're like, you shouldn't be trusting these people. So anyway, yeah, stuff like that. So I like the film a lot. Like I said, between 7 and 7.5. I do recommend it. And if you love westerns, then go see it. I just wish there was a little bit more on the supernatural side by the end. That's it. And the end is kind of left ambiguous about what happened to her and what happened to everybody else. I wish there was a little bit more answers to anything like that instead of it leaving completely ambiguous. Anyway, that's it for me. Remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Check out my stuff on Amazon. Type my name in or link in the description below. Also, check out Fairy Tales of Terror because I will be opening late pledge probably within the next few weeks. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great week, and I will see you in the next one.